Welcome to Personal Development Mastery Podcast, and this is episode 430. Today, I am delighted, really delighted, to be joined by my good friend Jamie Fair, and we will talk about a practice that has in many ways changed our lives. So, Jamie, welcome. My is overjoyed for having this conversation and this opportunity to discuss this, I believe, very important topic we are about to.
Yeah, thank you for the invite, Augie, my friend. I was really thrilled and excited when you said, "Hey, let's talk about this practice that we do."
Mhm.
So yeah, happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting others to do the same practice.
Absolutely, and this is also my intention to inspire someone to try it for themselves, as I was initially, and we started it, just over a year ago. Uh, Before I go there, I will give a very brief background. So to the mastery seekers who are listening right now. So Jamie Fair, my friend now, was 2 years, less than 2 years ago, one of my guests in the podcast. Actually, that's how we met, because you wanted to come to my podcast as a guest.
Very much.
Uh, and that was episode 302. And actually, I will share that because it is relevant and important. This has been and still is, I was checking earlier today, in the most top 15 most popular episodes out of over 400. So
Wow.
I think that says a lot. You were talking about how to create lasting motivation. So uh, that's how we met, really, and I gave that as a preface. Jamie, before I just want to add this, to maybe to join us from that conversation to here, before we really dive into this, the practice that we're doing that has changed our lives the last year. There is something I want to ask you. In that previous conversation on the podcast we did a year and a half ago, I had introduced you at that time as a speaker, author, visionary, and coach. Does this still resonate with you? That's my introduction question.
Yeah, very much. I'm still hopefully I got a second published book here coming out hopefully before Christmas. I'm
Mhm.
targeting. So yeah, very much an author, still very much a speaker, and love coaching people. That is my passion.
That's beautiful.
So yeah,
Great.
fits great. Thank you.
It it's good. It's good. It means I was looking at something similar today earlier, and I realized that it's great when you realize that you are still on the path. That means that it is the right path. The more you keep on relating to this. So enough with all that. Now I will really go back to the we have been doing a daily practice, or practically daily practice, for over a year now. And just before I'm going to share and stop the keeping the suspense, but before I share what it is, can you share? I would like to share one of the most important things I gained from it, Jamie. But can you tell me one of the most important things that you gained from doing this practice over the last year? Then I will share one, and then let's go ahead
Yeah.
and reveal what it is. And it's very easy, very simple.
The suspense is killing me. Narrow it down to one is difficult. I would say I feeling more supported than I ever have in my life, and I can go into more detail on that down the road.
Absolutely. I mean, that's important. We'll go through that for sure, because I also do feel the same. For me, and it's not that I'm narrowing it down to one. I'm just picking one that really
Fair enough.
right now feels like very relevant, and that is friendship. I mean, this practice allowed us to build this beautiful, this deep friendship. So, and that is, and I will share that also for because it's also interesting in this digital era that we live, that we still have not met each other in person. We have had numerous conversations online or with the practice that we do, but we still haven't met in person. So I'm just, sharing all of that. And
So it
Jamie,
doesn't require someone nearby to do this practice. It can be anyone, anywhere because of tech.
absolutely, that's very
Yeah.
important. So basically, what it is, and I got inspired to do this practice by one of my previous guests on the podcast, Andrew Cobb, who was sharing that he was doing that with one of his friends. And the practice basically is every day you pick up the phone and you record a quick voice message, what it is that you are grateful for that day. So it's a simple gratitude practice, or the principle of it anyway. And then send it to the other person. The other person listens to it whenever they want, send their own message, and I think in essence the practice is very extremely simple. So I don't know if you would describe it in a different way on the most basic level, Jamie. How would you describe the practice we've been doing?
You said it pretty well. I think early on, now that we've been doing it for a year, it feels very natural and easy. I would
Yes.
say early on, it felt a little like awkward, and we were still kind of navigating what was okay to share, what wasn't. So I would say it required us to do some navigation to get there. But yeah, in its simplest form, we're simply leaving each other a message of what we're grateful for the day, and not just leaving the message, but hearing the other person's message so that someone heard you. You're being heard. There's someone creating space for you to share that. And it's ridiculously powerful. I had no idea. Like crazy powerful, man. When you first said it, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's do that. And then,
Let's
wow,
talk
the impact
about
was
this. Let's talk
okay.
about this. Tell me what comes to mind when you say powerful. Tell me something that really strikes out for you. Then now
Well, I'll
that
just finish the story I started, and I could feel the emotions already kicking in here. But most of my life, I have kind of just gone out on my own and done it, right? I made stuff happen. I did it, I pushed things into motion. It's been all me. At least that's been my experience. That was my perception. And through the practice with you, I started to see things that I was grateful for more. So because I know I'm going to leave a recording, every night with you, I start focusing on, hey, what am I grateful for? And then my brain starts looking for things to be grateful for. And so for the first, I think, half of the year we were doing this, I would sit and I would think about what I wanted to share with you before I recorded the message. And it was just, I don't know what happened that day. Something clicked. I thought, man, I love having this very supportive, very close friend on the other side, even though he's, thousands of miles away, I can talk to every single day. And man, I just feel so supported right now. And then I started to realize, wow, my wife is actually very supportive right now too. And my mom's been and I just started like stacking these things up and realizing that I have never in my entire life felt so supportive. And while that was very impactful, it would not have been possible for me to experience that, I don't think, without this practice, without the focus, without setting my brain to start looking for those things to be grateful for. And in doing so, we find it, just like everything else. What we focus on, we find more of. And gratitude is absolutely one of those things. And it feels good too. It feels really good.
It certainly does, and because you mentioned the word focus, and I will say with that the consistency of the practice, the fact that we were doing it on a daily basis, would mean for me that there would be that time that it would be time to record my message, because I knew that if I would leave it then the remainder of the day would be much more difficult. So there have been many times that I really wasn't feeling of, recording a message of gratitude because of what was going on in my life on that day. So the practice allowed me to take my focus and put it deliberately into gratitude because of the practice. And then, the beautiful thing and the interesting thing is when you change your focus like that, you also change your vibration. You change your thoughts change, your emotions change, your day changes actually. So
What
I
you
think,
attract into your life changes.
so in terms of, the focus, the raising the vibration, and this is, it is gratitude. So apart from all the other things that we've experienced by doing this, and I would love to share a few more because there are some really, nuanced ones that might not become obvious. But talking about gratitude, the the benefits of it are obvious, very well documented, and I think everyone, if you are listening to us right now, you know very well the power of gratitude. So this is just an exercise that allows us a gratitude practice, I can call it.
Yeah, and a reminder to focus on the things that matter in life. One of the very important things, what we're grateful for.
You said earlier about feeling supported, and one thing that I gained from the practice, and it was one of the very important things for me, was the ability to do some deep introspection. Because, and let me I will back up for a moment here and give a little bit of clarification. Yes, we did indeed start this practice as a daily gratitude message, back and forth every day. However, soon, I don't remember how soon after, Jamie, it was, we added some other elements. I mean, some days we wanted to discuss about something that was happening with our day, and we really wanted to, get it off our chest, speak about it. So I think for me, that particular element of, sometimes I would describe things, and the practice allowed me, because it was done consistently, allowed me to really go deep inside and find what I wanted to say and what's going on and why I'm feeling that. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I was doing, and you know that because you've listened to me many times, a self-reflection. At the same, I was thinking out loud, doing self-reflection, and that really helped me, articulating these thoughts, these ideas, these. It's very different when you have them, when you have anything just up inside your head and there are thoughts, and it's very different when you speak it out with words. And this practice has helped me, and it helps me every day to articulate some concepts, or some it can be different things, it can be inner, some elements of my inner world. It allows me to articulate them, to express them, and that, for me, it is knowing myself better, really. It is my path to self mastery, to know myself. So this is, and I'm thanking you right now, truly, for, this practice is an integral part of my path to personal development mastery.
Me too, my friend. Me too. I like that. I appreciate that perspective, and have come across that many times myself. In stumbling over the words that we share with each other, I'll suddenly have an epiphany and go, "Oh my gosh!" It clicks. Things click into place, right? Another one that I would like to share is you said it pretty well, is the deepening of our friendship. It was an unexpected side effect because Augie and I meet every other week on Zoom, hang out for an hour, and that certainly improves our friendship. But when you get to hear what someone is deeply internally grateful for every day, it really gives you an insight into that person. I'm having difficulty articulating it, but it kind of opens us both up to be able to see the inner versions of us. And for me, at least, it brought me closer to you. Absolutely. I feel much closer to you than when we started this practice. We leave a message every day for each other. How can I help it? And I get to hear, your innermost thoughts and dreams and desires and although I have a lot of close friends, those aren't always things that we share with each other. So I appreciate that very much. I also appreciate that you have been an honest and an accurate reflection for me. Some days I may share something you're like, really, dude? Or you offer a perspective. You're always very nice about it, but you sometimes offer me a perspective that is like, I see it a little differently, and I go, oh wow, thank you for that reminder that I'm clear out in left field somewhere right now. And it's amazing because we live thousands of miles apart. We record, we're in completely different time zones for the most part. And most of our recordings are like 12 hours apart. And yet still we're able to deepen a friendship, to feel loved and supported and heard, to get honest reflection when you're sharing something. You're like, I don't know if this is how I should feel about things. There's just so much to this. I'll stop.
I think a phrase that describes it very well is like we have a front row seat to each other's, because with the daily, what's happening daily, we see what the other person is doing on a daily basis. And also, as you said, we see ourselves. It works in that introspective way, as I was saying. And one thing that I haven't mentioned yet in terms of the the things that I personally gained from this practice was it certainly has deepened my vulnerability, the way I can be vulnerable and share some things that Jamie, that very, very few people, or maybe one person, a part of you, knows. So it is when you reach that level of, and what I have always appreciated about your response to my comments of that kind is that you are very, I feel heard. You hear what I'm saying without judging me, without giving me any, oh, this is not right, or you could do this or that. It is completely a space that I feel safe to open up and be vulnerable and share with you what's deeply bothering me, what's deeply inside my heart or my mind, or what is the big thing that I'm struggling with my life right now, or whatever it is, on a daily basis. And this, I don't know about you, but for me, this ability to be more vulnerable, I have the feeling that it starts to spill out in other areas of my communication when I am more comfortable opening up and being vulnerable about something, because I have been practicing it with you on some of our messages. So we went really vulnerable, man. I mean, just thinking of that brings tears to my eyes. So I think that's been one of the most important things I got from this practice so far.
Yeah. I like the word trust that you said. Absolutely. We've created a space of trust. And I don't know, those of you, I don't have this, and it's not something that I learned growing up. My father was a Navy officer, and sharing your feelings was not something that I was taught to do. So, yes, through this practice, I have also learned to let down my machismo guard, and I don't have to be the macho male. I can be the real me. I can share. I can be vulnerable. I can tell you what's really going on in my life, and there aren't many people that I am that transparent with, if I'm honest, including myself in some cases. Like that, there's been things I've shared with you. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that about myself. So,
Yes.
yeah, that space of trust is far more impactful than I think people realize. Certainly more than I did. The more more than I realized.
Yeah. The space of, and we created that over the last, if you think about it, a year and a half ago. We had just met once on on a podcast interview. So this is, and that's really the reason, or one of the reasons anyway, that I wanted us to have this conversation on the podcast, because it is such a simple practice. It doesn't cost anything apart from some commitment.
Time.
Some time, okay. It is not a big deal of time. Like, I mean, 5-10 minutes a
5-10 minutes.
day.
Right.
Even though sometimes you and I have gone longer than
Over
that,
10
but
each, so it's about 20 minutes now. But
yeah,
yeah.
but that's probably the exception rather than the rule. Sometimes it is, there are stuff happening that need to be expanded on. But I was saying that my intention when this idea came to share this practice in the podcast was to inspire someone. So if you are listening right now and this resonates, it is so simple to start doing it, and the benefits that come from it, they build up with time. They cascade. I mean, this didn't happen with Jamie and I in the first month, but it started building up. And yeah, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to this, Jamie, this particular, someone listening that might think this sounds interesting, but, or there is a little bit
Right.
of a but.
Do I have a friend I can do this with, or who do I talk to, or do I
Yeah,
really want to
what
be
do you
that deep with
think?
someone?
What are your thoughts?
Um, my first instinct is to say, guys, just try it. Just try it. And don't try it for a day or two. Try it for a couple months. And because it is one of those things that builds up over time. It's a cumulative thing, right? Excuse me. It like you said, first few months, we were still kind of getting to know each other and exploring this. But over time, you realize that this person's safe and I can share everything. And then you do start to share everything. And then all the stuff that you used to hold inside is suddenly coming out. And it's a beautiful experience. And something else I want to add that I forgot to mention earlier is that, and I'm pretty stuck on this whole reflection thing, as you can tell. A couple times you brought something to my attention that I did not catch myself because you heard me. And in the way I said something, in the passion I had something, or the energy when I spoke, you would share back with me and say, wow, you were really passionate about that. Or, your energy levels were off the charts when you spoke about that. And those were things that I was not aware that I had passion around necessarily. Like one of them, go figure, was a podcast, right? And my wife and I have been kind of kicking around this idea of doing a podcast. And I shared that with Augie. And his next message was, man, you sounded like a motivational speaker. You were on fire when you talked about that. And suddenly I realized this is something I should pay attention to. And I would not have noticed. I did not notice that when I spoke about it. It was only when I got that reflection back. So there's a lot of value in having someone hear you. It really is. I think there's a part of all of us that wants to be truly heard. And here's an opportunity to do it. Maybe it's an awkward conversation with someone to get it started. Maybe it feels weird early on. It did. I'll admit it. It did feel a little awkward, early on. But it didn't take long before we fell into a routine and a rhythm, and then it deepened, and then it grew. And I think that's possible for anyone.
I think so also, Jamie. And, I will add to that what you were saying, that I have also, uh, with your reflection back at something that I said the previous day, for example, I hear you say, wow, congratulations on doing that. And things like that, I would not think of congratulating myself. I said something that I did. And the fact that you bring this different perspective for me also, that is important, because I realize, yeah, I actually, well done me. I mean, this is something. I've done something, significant or
Noteworthy, yeah.
noteworthy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there are so many of those, nuances or smaller things that come with this practice. And I think there are even, if we keep on digging in, we will find many more. The one that comes to my mind to add to that list, because I think it's important. We didn't mention it. It is some of those messages that we send back and forth. Rather than being gratitude, it's about venting our, disappointment with whatever is happening with the job, with the wife, with, it, and that.
I would never. No, that wasn't me.
No, of course, that, yes,
Keep
it
going.
was a
Sorry, I'm just
figure
kidding.
of speech, yes, of course, as you know. But, it's, I think that for me, that channel of being able to just share it out, that, what, this is what's going crappy with my day today. For me, it has been a great outlet, or channel, or some way out for me venting that. And then after a while thinking, oh well, it's not so bad after all. It's just because I spoke about it, and I didn't keep it within me. So I wanted to add this element to the practice, because it is also, we didn't stick to the rule that it has to be gratitude every day. Most of the times it is, but other times it is whatever really has to be expressed at that moment. That's how I feel anyway. I mean, I don't really prepare unless I have to respond something to what you told me, but I don't prepare what I'm going to say. It just comes out. What needs to be said will be said. That's what I believe.
100%. Yeah, it isn't always roses and beautiful as we're making it sound. There are times when we're like, I just had the crappiest day and I'm going to unload. So forgive me for the next 10 minutes, please. But but we also know, again, right? It's a safe space. So I get to unload, and now I've moved that emotional energy. It's not stuck inside me anymore. And boy, does that all of a sudden it comes down a lot when I'm able to move it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm even able to go from that I'm fired up, I'm angry, I'm pissed, I'm venting, to I got it out, and I'm starting to move toward gratitude again, and I end up we end up closing the message with gratitude. What a shift, right? That's not an easy shift to make, and I don't think that'd be possible without someone there to express that with, someone in a safe space that you can do that with. Good call.
Absolutely, absolutely. So actually, I think I will start wrapping this up now. We have. I'm hoping that the what we so, I believe, enthusiastically talked about, that we've been experiencing for the last year between us, is something that is intriguing at the very least. So I will just start concluding by, or conclude actually, by inviting our mastery seekers who are listening right now to to think, what if I tried and start this practice? Jamie said 2 months. That's probably too long to commit on something, but I would say try a couple of weeks at least and see whether that suits you. But right, it might, I mean, it has changed our life in so many ways. And that's why we took the time to share this with you. And yeah, just open that possibility of something so simple and yet so tremendously powerful.
And potentially impactful, not just for us, but for others, as you said, right? If I'm looking for gratitude, now I'm starting to look for, wow, what am I grateful for my spouse? Or am I being as grateful to my spouse as she deserves? Now we start looking at other people and how this applies as well. So
Yeah.
it's been a fantastic practice, my friend. Thanks for talking about this. This was fun.
Thank you for coming to talk about this. And somehow I was not, I didn't know exactly. It came to me as an idea, Jamie, and I have, as you know, have operated with that for a long time now. When something dawns up in me or comes up, I follow it. I'm. It feels like I am, assigned to perform that task. It comes in such a way that I say, "Wow, I'll do this." So here we are. I want to thank you so much. Not just for the conversation today, of course, but for the over 1 year of doing this practice and the time of our deep friendship. And what I always do with my podcast is hand it over to you for your last part in wisdom, Jamie.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
I don't think I have any wisdom to share. I would just like to express my gratitude to you, my friend. I know that we say it occasionally, how thankful we are, but the fact that you brought this into my life, that you became part of my life, that you became an integral and important and now critical part of my life, and this practice as well. And I told you some time back, man, you called me. I don't care how far away you are. I'm coming. That's what you can get from this, folks. I love you, man. Thanks very much.
Me too. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you.